All right, hello everyone. We are going to make instant overnight oats. So, as Elizabeth knows, I had bought a mix in Costco and they don't have it anymore. Shocker, right? Because I loved it and it had like dried raspberries in it, some other dried fruit as well. But I thought we would make maybe 2 versions of this, and then I'll show you maybe make 4 overnight oats. Sammy, who's house sitting for us, will have a good amount of breakfast ready for her, which is great. And maybe part of this I might take with me. So the ingredients that were in there were rolled oats. There was sugar. I've got date sugar. They had chia seeds. I don't have any that aren't ground, so I'm going to use ground chia seeds. There is not a thing in the world wrong with using whole chia seeds either. I was thinking I might put a little bit of flaxseed in there too. This will get all our little omega-3s. If you are actively trying to be on the McDougall program, you can have some of these, but you want to limit it. So you could just leave it out. Honestly, you don't need to make this mix to make overnight oats anyhow. I have soy milk powder. It used coconut milk powder. You could use coconut milk powder, you could use oat milk powder, or you could just make regular overnight oats. But we're talking about travel, so if you have this milky component to it, if you don't have access to non-dairy milk, you can just put water in it. And usually what I do with mine is I smash up a banana. If I have any fruit, I bring it with me in a cooler and I'll smash blueberries. So I think Elizabeth had mine that had strawberries and blueberries in it and no banana. And what I do, actually, my actual usual jar is somewhere. I thought it was right here. But anyhow, I usually have a smaller jar than this and I just travel with it. Then I clean it after I eat it, and then I fill it up and let it kind of sit. The more it sits, the more it kind of turns into more of a luscious pudding type. So I thought we would mix all this up together. I've got 4 cups of rolled oats. These are gluten-free and they're the sprouted organic ones. You really could use Quaker oats. And I'm not going to say anything to you. I think this is the wrong top for this. Oh, to live my life. Now we're not trying to make this into flour, but we're going to pulse it just a little bit. Now you could have done, I have ground flaxseed and ground chia seed. We could have done that in here a little bit and then added this. Okay, let me stop it for a second. Yeah. So what I could have left more, or this is pretty thick. There's some whole ones, some that are, more grit consistency. I'm not looking for perfection, but this is going to come together a little bit faster than if we just did the regular oats. I'm going to start with 1/2 cup of sugar. So let me put this in here. 4 cups oats, 1/2 cup, and that's date sugar. I got some at TJ Maxx, but Your Worlds works well. I am going to also put in, I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing about 1/2 cup, but let's do 1/4 cup. 1/4 cup of milk powder. And this will last for a really, really long time. I am going to put, I don't like a lot of flaxseed, so I'm going to put like 2 tablespoons of flaxseed for this. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, we'll start with that. And I'm going to put 2, 3. I'm going to put a quarter cup chia seeds. They can be whole or ground. And then we did 2 tablespoons flax, which is optional. We could also put in something crazy like vanilla powder, if I could find my vanilla powder. But for now, let's mix this up. So this would be like an unflavored base. And I'm going to kind of taste it, see if I can taste too much chia seeds, if it tastes kind of sweet to me or not. And honestly, I may see if I can sneak a bag of this on the plane with me for some of my adventures. Oh, 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 oh. This is why we keep the counters clean. So I'm just kind of mixing it up, kind of breaking up any of those date sugars. At this point, I'm just going to go in here with my hands. Now I have some not freeze-dried, just some dried blueberries and strawberries, but they're not bone dry. They're like kind of like raisins. I would not put that in here because that's going to mold. But I could, actually what I'm breaking up mostly is some of that date powder. So I'm going to take a little taste. I think I'm going to put, because I'm thinking about what if I was in a hurry, I just put water in here. So like, if I knew I was going to do that, I can dress up some of it. So maybe I'll leave half of it plain and half of it will dress up for me to take with me. But if I was doing it plain, I might want a whole cup of sugar in there. So I'll tell you a half to 1 cup to taste. And you could use a brown sugar. You just might want to, I just don't want anything to get moldy. So you might want to make the mixture and then put it in your oven for a little bit to kind of get that moisture out. There's some moisture in the ground seeds as well. And I just don't want to see this mix get moldy for you. And so some options that we could do if we wanted to make a whole batch one way. We could put cocoa powder, carob powder, PB2 powder in here. And in fact, you could put PB2 powder, cashew powder instead of milk powder if you wanted to. There's no problem with that at all. And the bag that has probably less than this is about $20. And even, okay, it cost me $5 for the whole bag of date sugar. Probably cost me $10, depending on when I got the oats. The soy milk powder probably did cost me about $3. This probably cost me $1. And you know, the oats, I have lots of everything else to make multiple batches of this. Okay. That tastes better to me. Now, you could leave it completely unsweetened and only sweeten it. So if I was making this for home use, I could always add in a little maple syrup or some date paste or anything like that. But since I'm kind of planning with travel, I think this is good, a good plain version. Oh, I am clumsy, y'all. Clumsy, clumsy. Let me get a funnel because we know what's going to happen. We know. Actually, let me close that so you don't have to see all of that disruption. Okay, actually, do I have a 1 cup? Just gonna. I think this is a 2 cup container. I would say so, just about. Okay, so this can be my, I'm going to fill it up a little bit more because I'm that way. And I may add some more stuff in here. This might be what I try to take with me. We'll make some with these, then I'll make this into something different, actually. So I think that might be about half the mix-ish. Okay, so we're gonna make a few different oatmeals. We're gonna make 4, maybe 5 oatmeals. So I've got some glass jars here. I've got some yogurt. I have a lot of yogurt, and I would just like to use some of it. We could also mix it up with non-dairy milk, and like I said, you can also mix it up with water. Okay. So I usually put about a half a cup in here, and if I have fruits, I put fruit on the bottom. So let's make a couple of different flavors because we've got everything plain there. So we can make a blueberry one. We can make a blackberry one. I have some of Jeremy's blackberries here. I have some peanut butter sauce I could use. We can make a chocolate peanut butter one. Yeah. Let's start here. So I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup, or actually about 1/3 of a cup of berries. So I'm going to give some of these good berries on the top. I'll do 2 berries. And I'm going to squish these down. I want to get the juice and the flavor and everything really well incorporated into these oats. So you'll get to see kind of how I do it. Get some blueberries. And there was a big recall for blueberries, but these are not in that one, thank goodness. I don't think I have any more bananas, so I'm not putting any bananas in this, but I put a goodly amount of fruit in mine. And when I travel, sometimes this is the only fruit I get. Okay. And then I have some yogurt, and this, I'm just going to pour some of that in. I have another container of yogurt. Oh, the drop-in. Can you tell I'm getting nervous? Nervous about the big exciting trip. I think I'm just nervous because we leave tomorrow morning. I am all packed except for all the food I want to take that I think I cannot take. This would be one of those items. And Elizabeth, you could take this on a cruise ship. And then that way you could just add water and you have your oatmeal. Fair and square. All right, I have some vanilla oat milk or vanilla yogurt. And I'm thinking this class may end up being quite short. And maybe what we can do is set up a Zoom call as well, since there won't be as much time to talk just during class. All these will be a little shorter because you're not especially with the smoking, you're not having to wait for me to smoke for 30 minutes and all of that. So this will be my favorite one. This might be my breakfast in the morning. Blueberry, vanilla bean yogurt. Yes, please. That way I can eat before I go on the plane. All right, so I just really kind of eyeball it. And like I said, this doesn't have to be this mix. You could now put maybe a tablespoon of chia seeds in each one. You could put a third of a cup of oats. Actually, let me mix all this up in together first. We'll do the blueberries and then we'll do the blackberries last. I feel like this could use a little more yogurt. Now, sometimes I don't have yogurt, and this last time I used this, I only used yogurt. So Elizabeth, the ones you had just had yogurt and no milk. But I could have also just used water. And we could put like cardamom, or actually for my blueberry one that I'm probably going to eat, let's put a little cardamom in there. Blueberry cardamom. I can remember it because the neck is different. We'll do that one last. Now let's go ahead and put about a half a cup of the oat mixture in there. This one I may have got a little heavy-handed with my yogurt. Nope, it's still going to work. Alrighty. Now, I could make one of these chocolate blueberries by just putting in some cocoa powder. I could also go ahead and maybe put just a little bit of milk in there. And then I'm going to mix everything together. So you can just kind of, wing it. Wing it. Oh, this is not the one I thought it was. One of the things I love about this, so at home, I will make a bunch for myself. And then you can always add in more liquid if you want to, or more fruit the next day. And you can decide how thin or thick you want. Since I didn't measure it, these will probably all be a little bit different. Can you guys hear that storm? I think there's a tropical storm, not right here, but fairly nearby. So see, you can make it just this thick is fine. It's going to get thicker. So maybe I'll go ahead and mix in a little extra in here. If I taste this, it's so good and so easy. And with summer being so hot, so irritating, and so busy, you can take, like right now I'm doing this literally on a Sunday night. And then I wouldn't really do 7 days of this. I wouldn't really do more than 5, 4. I like to do it about twice a week. You could also put this in a Ninja Creamy Pipe, freeze it. If it's really, really hot, that's one of the things that I do, is I actually eat it as ice cream when it's too hot for me to really want to eat something. And this doesn't even have to be perfectly mixed together. You could also, Cheryl hates overnight oats cold. So you can actually, a good thing with the mason jars too is you can put them in the microwave, warm them up, and make warm cereal. So you could use this anytime. I love being in my hotel, making this, then just kind of put it in the fridge. And in the morning, I just pull out a spoon, look at my email, see if there are any questions I need to answer, and then I'm done. It's just that simple. And actually, for mine in the morning, do I want to put, oh, the cardamom smells good. Okay, so literally, that's how long it took to make a special mix, which you don't even have to do. We'll do some plain ones. Maybe I'll do a second overnight oats class, because in Outrageous Oats, I have a whole bunch of different ones. Some of them I use yogurt, some of them I don't. When you use chia seeds and a little bit of flaxseed, and especially with some non-dairy milk and stuff, you don't have to. I just like it. I enjoy it a lot. Okay. And so this is mine. Oh, I got one more lid to put on. Let me get these well, I'll put these in the fridge in a little bit. But use whatever seasonal fruit. So like, if you don't have any fruit on hand, you could put frozen fruit in there and let it kind of thaw out or not. And I've done that before, bought some frozen fruit. Bananas are great because bananas actually help moisten everything. So if I'm not using non-dairy milk or yogurt, I'm using water, banana helps make it feel richer. So it's almost like you're making a faux banana milk, is the way I'm seeing it. I don't know if any of you guys watched Glee, the TV program, but when I said that, you remember there was a thing, Sue sees it. Sue sees it. And that's how I feel right now. Sue sees it. And you know what? There's just a little bit left. And I'm just going to pop her in there. And I'm going to have the very best breakfast ever tomorrow. Get a little non-dairy milk in there. And then we'll turn the other one into a different mix. We made strawberry powder in one of the dehydrator classes. So you could put strawberry powder, you could put the chia seasoning in there. You could really put raisins in there, but you'd want to make sure the raisins were pretty dry again, because we don't want any kind of mold to be happening in this. Oh, I'm going to be so happy tomorrow. I'm going to put a little more milk. Actually, I think I'm going to put a little more yogurt, because we probably won't eat before lunch, and Cheryl won't eat this. She's already nervous, and so it's just not an option. She might eat a bagel at the airport. That's the best I can hope for. So I'm trying to keep me ready to go so I can be in charge. Then when there's other things happening, Cheryl will be in charge. Okay. And this one's mine, so I can touch it with my hands as much as I want to. That is awesome. Okay, so now let's take half this mixture and let's make it into peanut butter cup oats, because it's super easy and you probably have this on hand. You could do one or the other. So let's get back into this bowl. Okay, so this will be half the mix above, and we'll do PB2 and the cocoa powder. I think I'll have, which one looks low? I might just make a little, yeah, I think I can, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in here. And literally we're going to mix in BB2 and cocoa powder to just kind of make it, it's like a dessert oat. So that's another thing. If you're not making Ninja Creamies and you wish you had kind of like creamy pudding, and we made a pudding in the microwave, but you make it and you let it chill. This you can make in like little jelly jars. You can make a few of these and just grab one. And as far as everything goes, I think it's not that bad for you, personally. Okay, so I'm going to start out with 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder and 3 tablespoons of peanut powder, because I love peanut more than I do chocolate. But you can match whatever you want with that. This could be cashew powder. This could be carob instead of cocoa powder. Okay, let's mix this up. See how it feels. See how it smells. See how it tastes. And we would do the same thing if we had some, maybe you have some lemon powder or lime powder. So one thing that would be really good, if you put lime powder, you could kind of make it like lime and dried mint. We could add that to blackberries for like a blackberry mojito style. But I love buying something that I can just travel with. And that's why I end up often, whenever Costco has something that's an overnight oat that's easy to get to, I go ahead and grab it. But honestly, more than anything, it's me being lazy. So whenever Costco has something like this, I get really excited and invested, but it's just the laziness talking. Okay, let's taste it. Oh, the peanut butter is awesome. I could use more cocoa, so I'm going to add another tablespoon of cocoa. I'm tempted to add another tablespoon of peanut, but let's mix it in and see what we're doing here. Dang. I am going to add another peanut butter. So this is how I would keep going. It's definitely sweet enough to support this with 1 cup, which is like a half a cup of sugar in here. This is probably, if you did the smaller servings, it could be like 8 servings. If you did it for breakfast, it'll be a little bit more. I think this puts me at a 1/4 cup of each. And you could do less. Yes. Okay. And we'll make a small one of that. It's just so good. It's kind of candy bar good without all of the candy bar ick that you have to deal with, which is fantastic. So let me get this little guy. I'm going to go ahead, because I have it, and put some vanilla yogurt in here. A little bit still. That'll make it even nicer with a little bit of vanilla. Let's see. I'm thinking about a 1/4 cup of this. Maybe just a little bit more. And I've got some non-dairy milk I can put in there too. I kind of want this to be super uber thick. But yeah, I'm gonna need a little more liquid. This is going to be like the best dessert ever, or snack. And this could also be blended and put in a creamy pint, should you want to. Okay, so I'm just kind of getting around the edges. That is fabulous. So while I'm not making every variation of this, this gives you a base one, a peanut butter chocolate one, different ways you can take this and make it into your overnight oats, using fruit and mixing it in or not, using it plain if you want to. To me, this is the best travel breakfast you can have, especially when the lowest common denominator is adding water, because you've put in either like soy milk powder or something else. If you add milk like I did, then it's even richer, but you don't have to do that. So I want to thank you guys for your patience for the pre-recorded classes. We'll start live classes again in September. But if you have any questions about any classes whatsoever, please email support@healthyslowcooking.com and one of us will get back to you, okay? And tell me how you're making your oats. That's what I want to know.